Hey everyone, Anthony here with your friends in the RV business, and the call today is a Heartland Landmark. That is like the biggest mamma jamma that Heartland makes, to my knowledge. Big fifth wheel, and customer's got 3 air conditioners on top, and says that the front one's not working. Said that he recently had the roof rebuilt, had some damage from Hurricane Helene, and so of course when you do a roof rebuild you got to take everything off the roof, and when you're done put everything back on the roof. And he said ever since the roofer put all the airs back on, the front air has not been operational. No fan, no compressor, no nothing. So we're going to jump up there, and I've already been up there. I've already taken the shroud off, but I'm going to go up there and show you guys what the situation is, and we're going to solve a mystery. Let's go. Okay, like I said, I took the liberty of already getting up here and taking the shroud off the air conditioner. It's a Blizzard, Dometic Blizzard. He's got 3 of them. And for all of you who have Dometic Blizzards, you know how of a pain in the neck it can be to take those shrouds off of those things. We've got 1, 2, 4, 6, 9 screws holding a shroud on, and the 3 back ones are an absolute anyhow, I've already taken the shroud off. So again, situation is the customer says air conditioner is just not responsive at all. No fan, no compressor, no nothing. So let's open it up, and I've got a feeling that if all of our voltages are there, AC voltage is present, DC voltage is present, then we've probably just got a wiring issue in here, and that would be easy to overlook, you know, especially if your job is doing roof rebuilds. You're not going to be maybe real up to speed on electronics and wiring, but anyhow, let's take a look and see what we got going on. This is the inside of a Blizzard, and it's like a brisk air too. This has got a big old styrofoam cover that covers up the evaporator and the control box, which is under here. And so for all of you who have never opened up a Blizzard before, this is what you'll see. And it's literally you grab this side, and just start pulling straight up on it. And then down here, you know, is where your wire harnesses are going in. And they've got this sticky dope that they use to plug up the hole around the wiring, so the evaporator's not drawing outside air in when it's supposed to be drawing cabin air in. So anyway, since this takes 2 hands and I'm the only one on the roof, I'm going to sit you down and I'm going to pull this off, and then we're going to look at the situation. Okay, I'm going to do my best to show you guys what's going on while I'm investigating myself. So anyhow, this part of the evaporator box comes out too, so we'll take that out of the way, and voila, here's our control box. And right here is the schematic of the situation, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a still shot of that with my camera so I can blow it up, because I'm old with bad eyes. But you can see right down here they got 2 screws here, 2 screws here. That's what holds this box in. I'm gonna take those 4 screws out so that I can pick this up, move it around. We're gonna take this screw and that screw out so that we can open up the lid of the control box and investigate and see if there's something inside the box that might be the issue at hand. So with that being said, let's take some screws out. It is a 5/16, by the way, for these screws. And I was using the extension because without it, my gun was hitting the top of the box and I couldn't get a good bite on the screws. Box. Screw for the lid. Screw for the lid. And then this umbilical cord over here is being held down by a wire restraint here. I'm going to go ahead and take that out too, just so I can pick it up moving around. All right, here we go. Now, this being a luxury fifth wheel, Heartland put a system in this. I can't remember if it's Firefly or Spider or the one that who's the company that makes the Advent air conditioner. They make a touchscreen program too, but anyway, that touchscreen, it runs all 3 zones. So Dometic has in these air conditioners what is called a gateway box, and essentially that gateway box is the go-between between that touchscreen system and these air conditioners and furnace. So this control box that I have in my hand is a single zone control board for this air conditioner, and it communicates with this guy right here, which is the gateway box. And if we didn't have this set up, this control board would communicate with a single zone thermostat on the wall downstairs. But because it's not set up that way, and it's set up with this touchscreen deal, you have to use the gateway box. It's a translator, so to speak. So all these white and blues and whites and all that right here, that's all coming from downstairs. This red, black, and green are talking to the control board right here. So but what I want to do is just look over everything and see, is there anything disconnected that would make it obvious, right? So our AC voltage is right here. Molex connectors, they're notorious for coming apart, but this one is clearly snapped together and engaged. I'll check here in a second for the presence of AC voltage. Right here in this 4-pin plug is where our DCs plug in. So let's do this. Let's verify that we've got 12 volts coming up here, and let's verify that we've got AC voltage here too, because without one or the other, nothing's going to work. So let's get out the multimeter. All right, so we got the multimeter. I'm going to set it on AC voltage. Might be able to see that. Right here on the side of the box is our line, our neutral, and our earth ground. Earth ground is just screwing right into the box, literally. Our white neutral common is going straight to the capacitor, and our line voltage is going to this relay right here. And this relay is what runs that compressor. So let's see. Yes, we've had 123 volts AC arriving at the relay on the control board, so we know we've got AC voltage. Let's put it on DC scale and see if we've got DC. Now you can go to the wire nut, the wires coming from the house. I already know that this 4-pin plug here has got this red wire. This solid red wire is our 12 volts DC going into the control board. So I'll just merely take my negative probe, put it on the box, because it's the same as earth ground, and I can just touch this little contact right here, and I've got 13.65 volts arriving at the control board. Now, the wire next to it, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's actually a red-white striped wire. That is the 12 volt positive for thermostat. Okay, so if I touch this little probe right here, I've got 13.11 volts DC going to my thermostat. Now, we've already talked about this doesn't go straight to the thermostat in this application. It's going to this gateway box. So if we've got 12 volts at the board, we've got 12 volts leaving on the thermostat wire, let's verify if we've got 12 volts arriving at the gateway box, because if nothing is getting there, then nothing is going to work, because it is the translator for the system downstairs. So if we look over here, we've got all these wonderful wire nuts that I do not like, and we will change those. And we've got our red-white striped wire here, which we just checked. We had 13 volts coming away from on that. So I'm going to stick a probe in that wire nut and see, do we have 13 volts here? And we do. I know you didn't see it, but you just have to take my word for it. We've got 13 volts at that wire nut. So, all things being equal, gateway box is getting its positive voltage. But, as you know, the DC circuit, it's got to have a negative. Those electrons got to get back to its source in order for the work to work. So, if we've got 12 volts there, are the 12 volts leaving there? So, looking at the schematic, which I did, and if I can figure out with my editing program how to put a still shot up so you guys can see the schematic, I've already verified that on the gateway box that the black wire is the negative. Alright, so our black wire is leaving the gateway box, and it is wire nutted into right here. Right below the red wire is our black wire. So that negative runs back here to the board. And then the only other wire that there is the green wire, which is wire nutted into this orange wire, which the orange wire is right here. And that is our communication wire. So that's the wire that gets the ones and the zeros to talk back and forth. Now, this is the 12 volt from the coach, these orange white wires, and they're wire nutted into the red wire, which runs into our sheath here and comes out right there. So that's how the 12 volts is being fed to the control board. Now, my question is if everything 12 volt has to have a negative, how is this control board, how is this gateway box able to complete the circuit? The negative from the coach is right here, and it runs parallel with our positive, and the two negatives are wired together like they should be. But I'm thinking that those two little thin black wires that feed the gateway box and feed the control box, they need to be grounded. If they're not in that negative, they're not completing their circuit, and this isn't going to work. So let's take some wire nuts off. Let's replace some connections with some Wago connectors, and let's take these two little thin black wires and pair them up with the negative of the coach. And I've got a feeling that we're going to see an air conditioner come alive. Alright, I got all the wire nuts off and all Wago connectors on, and I mean, for any of you who are experienced, you know, in this line of work, I mean, you know, when you're doing, you know, like a brisk air 2 with a single zone thermostat, you know, when you're putting in that new control box, say you're going from a metal one to the gray plastic one, and you know, that 4-pin plug that I'm talking about right here in this, it's the same plug. And you know, when you're wiring it up, you've got to have that house negative paired in with the negative between the thermostat and the control box. Otherwise, you know, the DC ain't going to work. So anyhow, this is the result down here. We've got all of our negatives into a 5-pin Wago here, even though we only need 4 of them. And then the rest of it, our communication wires there. A 3-pin Wago has got all of our positives in it. And then down here, we've got our positive for thermostat. So we've got all good solid connections here. And over here on the shed wires, we've got Wagos there going on there too. So what I'm going to do now is ask the customer if he'll go inside and see if this air conditioner will fire off. And I've got a feeling we're going to see something. Alright, so the customer has just gone into the camper and he's going to turn on the air conditioner for us. All right. All right, there's Stan. It would not do that before. And there's our compressor. All right. So, relatively simple problem. Can easily get lost in the spaghetti bowl of wires down there, but the DC side that runs the brain of this air conditioner was not able to do what it needs to do because it didn't have a negative. So we got the air going. Been sitting here waiting for this to start up. I'm looking down here in the plenum, just looking at things, checking things out. Like I said, the roof has just been rebuilt on this camper, and I noticed that this air conditioner is not sitting straight on the plenum hole, and is going to be a victim of short cycling. So not only is the free sensor missing, but that's probably my doing from taking the control box out. But right down here is the divider for air return and air discharge. And there's a nice big, almost a finger wide gap right here, all the way across the plenum. What you're going to have here, given enough time, cold air is getting kicked down into the plenum by this squirrel cage. Some of that cold air is going to get sucked back out of this gap and back through again, and it's just going to be a vicious cycle of cold air. And even though there's a free sensor there, that evaporator is going to ice up. So we're going to fix that. We're going to take some of that metal HVAC foil tape and seal up that gap for him so he doesn't have issues. And a little bit of sawdust and stuff going on in this evaporator here, and I'll see what I can do to clean that up a little bit. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, got the evaporator cleaned up a little bit. Got that tape down there to cover up that gap so he doesn't have short cycling issues. The gateway box has been installed with the wires up, because on the front of the box it tells you which way the airflow this way. In this scenario, it's airflow this way because the air is coming up from the return into the evaporator. So I've got this oriented so the arrows are up for airflow. Got her taped to the box, and there are so many wires involved in this system, and there ain't nothing that you can do except just kind of, they're just going to be in the hole, which is in the way of airflow. Now, I'm not a big fan of these central air setups, but heck, even just the through ceiling setups ain't a whole lot of better sometimes. Man, sometimes you just end up having to cut out a bunch of wire because there's just no need for an extra foot of, you know, 5-6 different wires. And even if you bundle them up and zip tie them, you know, it's that big bundle of wires in the way of airflow. So it is what it is. Got the cover back on, and these Blizzard covers are little cantankerous to get back into their exact position. So across the front here, and you know, I had a little bit of a gap going on here, and those gapped here, even though they've got the putty for the hole. So I mean, if you want your air conditioner to work really efficiently, you don't want any outside air getting drawn into the evaporator box. So I use some of my foil tape here to cover up any gaps or holes so that we don't have that issue going on. So anyhow, good luck with your Blizzard out there.